People from all over the region packed the hall at the Lloydx today to collaborate, learn, and network at the Indigenous Economic Summit. Arian Tidswell went and spoke to some of the participants.
It's a busy day for Indigenous businesses and their partners taking part in the summit. Some local shops have built long, fruitful relationships with the community, in part by attending events like this one.
We love being a part of the Economic Summit. We've done it for a couple of years. We think it's so important to support the Indigenous community. They bring so much value to businesses in Lloydminster and surrounding communities. And we want to be there, we want to learn, we want to grow with them. And it's all about supporting each other.
A spotlight was put on both Indigenous tourism and entrepreneurship at the event, with panels for each. Monica Brunette, representing Saskatchewan's Métis Economic Development Corporation, spoke encouraging entrepreneurs.
To actually quit your job and go out on your own, that's so courageous, and I congratulate you both for doing that. Don't stop. Talk to people like us. We may not be able to help you specifically, but we know people who can.
The regional bridge here represents opportunities for businesses to expand into new markets.
We're an Indigenous-owned company. We have about 12 First Nations from across Canada who are shareholders in the company. We do infrastructure inspection and we do a lot of environmental monitoring, particularly on major projects that impact First Nations and their traditional territories. And we see a lot of opportunity in Saskatchewan, as well as on the eastern side of Alberta. That's one region that we haven't really touched yet, or we haven't been active in yet, so that's why we're here.
Ian Tidswell, Primetime Local News.
A multi-agency training exercise took place at the Lloydminster Airport this morning. The Lloydminster Fire Department, RCMP, EMS, and personnel from the city and province participated in the exercise. Crews worked to help mitigate a simulated incident. The teams had to establish command and put out a fire, as well as rescue 4 patients.
The fire department had their extrication equipment and stuff. We actually had people trapped in the vehicles. They had to cut them out, and it was tried to make it as realistic as possible.
The exercise ran from 9 a.m. until close to noon. Crews were prepared to stop the training in the event of a call for service, as public safety is a top priority. Officials say they're pleased with how things went.
I think it went really well. Again, always things to learn. We do these things to make things better, plan for the worst, and working with the other teams. There is some gaps, but we definitely will work through those gaps and be better prepared.
A thorough review of the exercise, including an after-action report, will now be completed to identify strengths and areas of improvement. An update to the Saskatchewan tax enforcement policy will see the threshold of the set amount to be excluded from the list of land in arrears to be moved from $100 to $500. During discussion, there were questions regarding interest charges and how they would be impacted by the policy update.
As we make adjustments to policy, that we're not in essence leaving money on the table per se, if some would say that, or treating anyone special. And from what the information that was provided by administration was, there will be continuous interest charges to incur that the taxes are paid on property. So if they are put off by 1 year because of the amounts left owing, there will still be interest charged on those outstanding accounts as they are anywhere else in the city.
Now, many councillors agreed with this decision because a cost benefit to the tax collection process is a good thing.
By having a lower threshold, we're not going to be spending so much money to be able to get enforcement on those, but knowing that the process will still include follow-up with those customers, that will still have the ability to actually talk to them and try and get payment on it, but there's still a process for it to come around on an annual basis, means that we're still going to ultimately collect that money. It just takes away some of the administrative cost of doing it.
Now, the holiday season is right around the corner, and it's never too early to start giving back. The Lloydminster Christmas Angels have been giving back to families in need for over a decade, and Abby St. John has more in part 1 of a 2-part interview.
With winter around the corner, it's never too early to be thinking about the holidays. And today I'm joined with Janice, who's with the Lloydminster Christmas Angels, for a two-part interview about what they do and what they're all about. Thank you so much for joining me today, Janice.
Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. Now, can we just start off by what is the Lloydminster Christmas Angels, and what is it that you guys do?
Okay, so for a lot of years, we were known as Santa's Christmas Angels. And I decided, I think a couple of years ago, I'm going to change it, maybe easier to search or to find, if you're searching. And what it is was I've always liked to give. I like to do things for people, and I've always wanted to help a family out at Christmas. So when my kids were little, I remember saying, you guys are so lucky. You're just blessed to have family and good health and too many presents. And I thought, I want to do something. And I let it go all these years, kind of forgot about it. And I think it was 2011, we had became grandparents the year before, and I felt like super, super blessed. And I thought, I just this is going to be the year, but I can't do it myself financially. So I thought I'm going to put it out on Facebook land and whether people help me or think it's crazy or something, I'll find out. Well, I had so many messages and people just got on board. A lot of them didn't know me from a hole in the ground, and they brought gifts and, just all kinds of stuff. So what I wanted to do, there's so many people that are financially strapped. So obviously we couldn't help all of those people. So I thought, there's people going through serious health issues or might have just lost a loved one, just need some Christmas cheer and to know the community was there for them. So I got people to private message me, with families that they could think of that might need the help. And then I picked from there, and we will do 2 families a year. So what I like to do is have a stocking for everybody. And so there's stockings, and then there's somebody needs to fill them. So we filled the stockings, and I like to have 6 or 7 gifts per person. And then, of course, Christmas, you need food. So there's a turkey, there's a ham, there's potatoes, there's stuffing, there's dessert, you name it, just everything, Christmas treats. And so I've had a lady right from year 1, and I think this is my 11th or 12th year. I've lost track, honestly. She's done the baking for me. Every year she brings beautiful trays of her baking. And then I've got a lady that does stockings, and she puts their names on with her embroidery, beautiful stockings. So I have it's a private Facebook group because I don't want the families knowing everything, Yeah. And every year I can have anywhere from 80 to 200 members. And I kind of make a list of what we need, and people will just say, okay, well, I'll buy first, I'll put their first names, and I find out some likes, from each person. I always get the okay, whoever nominated the family. And then we vote in the group which 2 families we'd like to help. Of course, we can't do them all. I'd love to, but we just can't. And I only have 2 spare rooms in my house. So I have family number 1 in 1 bedroom and family number 2. And whoever nominated the family, I find out from them whether this family will be open to accepting these gifts, because some people just don't want to, they're not comfortable, and which is fine, of course. So then I just get some likes and stuff like that, hobbies that they might be into. And then we go from there. And I have people coming to my house, dropping things off and gift cards and food. And I'm sure the neighbors wonder what's going on here, because it could be one car pulling in and one pulling out some days. And honestly, I'm going to get teary-eyed. Every year when people come to drop stuff off, I get goosebumps. It's like, it's just really touching. Mm-hmm. Most of us don't know the families. And, you know, people complain about Lloydminster, and this community is amazing. You know, really, that for strangers, they just go out of their way and bring these gifts, and then delivery. I will usually about a week before Christmas, we'll deliver. We just go to the door. We don't go in or anything. A few of us will deliver. And it's such an emotional night. I just feel drained after it. It's just such a good feeling in your heart. And then there's always feedback from the families, and the kids get so excited when there's little kids. Oh my gosh, you know, they're so excited, jumping up and down and running to the door. And just, you know, the parents are just so overwhelmed by it all. And it's just, you know, makes all the time worth it. And because I work out of my house, I can do it. It's a lot of organizing, but it's all done online. So, you know, it's just such a good feeling.
That's amazing. Everything that you do to give back to these families who, you know, are going through a loss or going through health issues, and they really need that Christmas spirit. So we'll have a lot more information in part 2. So tune in tomorrow to see part 2 of my interview with Janice and the Lloydminster Christmas Angels.
And now it's time for us to check in for the first time tonight with Shelby Clark for a look at weather.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city on our Thursday here. Just a day away from that long weekend coming up here. I know we're all pretty excited. You know, we get to feast, spend time with friends and family, so it's coming up pretty soon. But for today, we are seeing a much more beautiful day, I would say, slightly cooler than what we would like. We are just sitting at that 12-degree point, but if you step outside, that sun is really shining out there throughout the day as well. So you are still feeling a little bit of that heat, but in the air it is a little bit you know, crispy, a little chilly, so hopefully everybody's still enjoying their day. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, we have warmed up slightly in those temperatures compared to yesterday for sure. Most are just seeing between 12 to 14 degrees over on this end, 15 over in Vegreville and up in Lac La Biche, while Edmonton is seeing the warmest with that 17-degree mark. Overall, we aren't seeing too bad of conditions on our Alberta side. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are slightly matching with us on our Alberta side with those temperatures, slightly cooler with most spots just seeing 10 to 12 degrees over on this end. And down in Mackling, they are just seeing 14 degrees, so Mackling is definitely seeing the warmest compared to the rest. And for North Battleford, they will be going down to that low of 0 for their evening low, so not seeing that minus mark just quite yet, but you know, pretty close. So seeing not too bad of a temperature for tonight. Then tomorrow, North Battleford will be expecting a nice, beautiful Friday at 18 with a lot more sun, so going to be a beautiful day for North Battleford. Switching over to Cold Lake here, they will be going down to a low of 3, so they are seeing that plus temperature once again, single digit, but you know, better than that minus mark. So seeing a nice night tonight, pretty clear night as well. And then for tomorrow for Cold Lake, they will be going to that 18 as well, but seeing a mixture of some sun and cloud, but still seeing a beautiful temperature compared to today. So going to be also seeing a beautiful Friday. And for us here in the border city, we will be expecting that low of 3, so warming up slightly compared to what we were seeing last night. So beautiful, beautiful. Going to be seeing a nice evening tonight. Then tomorrow we won't be seeing too bad of a Friday. We will be looking at that 18 and seeing some partly sunny and warmer weather. So get ready. We're going to be seeing a beautiful Friday just in time for TGIF, you know, starting off the weekend. So I think we're all pretty excited in this fall season. And now ending off here with some viewer photos. Thank you to everyone that have submitted some beautiful weather submissions. Absolutely gorgeous. This one's from June. Love it. Love that walking trail and seeing all those beautiful leaves there. And then seeing this one from Christine, a beautiful shot of those colors in the sky. So thank you to everyone. And that's all I have for now. A lot more coming up after the break.
We're heading into the world of sports now. The Lakeland College women's soccer program are in the midst of a 3-game losing streak. As our Adel Ahmed reports, there was one message that was primarily being mentioned in their most recent practice, being cohesive.
It's now the halfway mark of the regular season for the women's soccer program. Wednesday's practice had the group primarily focus on being cohesive, something that will be imperative for the team ahead of their toughest opponent, the Keanu Huskies. who have won their last 5 games and are tied for first place in the ACAC.
Against a group like that, I think it's very important that not only we stick together as a unit, but we also talk to as a team. So we keep that mental piece in it all together, not so much one person's turned off, we try to get them back in the game, and we keep our cohesion, we move as a unit, we keep ourselves together kind of all over the field.
Although being cohesive is an important factor ahead of their 2 matches against the Huskies, let alone the entire season, the players say limiting their errors will be another factor as to how they can snap out of their 3-game losing skid.
And I think we just have to watch out for their attacking transitions because they're really quick on the ball when we make a mistake. So we're just going to have to be extra intense and ready for the game, that we're not going to be making those mistakes, and we'll keep the ball and hopefully get some attacking opportunities on them, because I think our front line can be pretty speedy compared to theirs, so hopefully we can just finish off those opportunities.
The women will have a chance to earn 6 crucial points when they take on the Huskies at home on Saturday and Sunday. Kickoff times for both games will be scheduled for 12 p.m. Adil Ahmed, Primetime, Local Sports.
While the women's program are getting ready for their matches on one side of the pitch, the Wrestlers Men's Club are doing the same on the other. Our Adil Ahmed once again has the story.
The men's soccer program, like the women, are also well past the halfway mark of the regular season. Wednesday's practice saw the group focus on a number of things ahead of their upcoming opponent.
Pressing at the right times and listening to the defensive cues and stuff, when to step, when to drop, and just kind of being patient on the ball and win the ball back when we can, and just kind of playing how we want to play good soccer, getting the ball forward when we need to, and finishing our chances.
Their upcoming opponent will be the Keanu Huskies, who, just like the women's team, are also sitting first place in the ACAC. Although it will be a challenging task for the Rustlers, they're confident that they can come out victorious this weekend by doing a few things.
Score goals. That's about it. But that's soccer. If you score, you win. That's all we have to do. Move the ball faster. Because once our defense gets the ball, as long as we move the ball fast, I feel like we can get into the attacking area and the midfield area faster. Once we do that, we take control of the game.
The men will have a chance to climb up the standings this weekend when they face the Huskies at home. They will play following the women's games at 2 p.m. Adil Ahmed, Primetime, Local Sports.
The MLB postseason is upon us, with the Toronto Blue Jays being one of the teams competing in the wildcard round. With more, here's Adil Ahmed and Thomas Wildman.
Well, now we're heading into the MLB playoffs here, as 12 teams remain in the postseason here, but only one can be crowned as champions. As we bring you into our MLB playoff panel, I'm Adil Ahmed. Alongside, I have Mr. Thomas Wildman here to talk some baseball here. Now, Thomas, we're going to just go right into it. We're going to start off with the wildcard teams. There's 4 different games going on, starting on Friday. The biggest one of all right here in Canada is the Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners, both teams facing each other for the first time in the postseason. First time that the Mariners are back in the postseason since you weren't even born at the time when the Mariners made the postseason last time. So just talk to me about the opportunity that presents itself for both the Blue Jays and the Mariners in this series.
Well, yes, the Mariners and the Blue Jays have both been rebuilding. The Blue Jays for considerably less time than the Mariners, as of course they haven't made the playoffs since 2001, which was quite a long time ago, over 20 years, more older than me. But in terms of looking at both these teams right now, we've got the Jays and the Mariners, who both are younger teams who still maybe could get even better as time goes on. I don't think this is the peak, but these teams are really great. First, looking at the Jays, they've got an all-star pitcher in Alek Manoah. They just recently acquired him, and he's been playing outstanding. Excellent starter. He will be starting game 1. Then in terms of otherwise, they've got some elite batting, and the Jays, that's one of their strengths, some real great power bats. Of course, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a player who was around the last time his father was around when the Mariners last made the playoffs. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr., absolutely amazing power bat. He's an all-star this year. Bo Bichette wasn't an all-star this year, but is a great shortstop and was an all-star in 2021. Alejandro Kirk, one of the best catchers in the league, an elite player. And of course, George Springer, he won a World Series in 2017 with the Astros. Of course, there's a bit of an asterisk next to that, but he's still an elite player and an elite veteran. In terms of the Mariners, they got Louis Castillo. He's an amazing starter. They traded for him during the trade deadline, and he's going to get the start in that first game. He's been great this year. Robbie Ray was a former Jay. He's been an excellent starter as well for them. Then we've got Cal Raleigh, who is a really great player as well. He clinched the playoffs for the Mariners with his walk-off home run. And then they've got the rookie Julio Rodriguez. He's one of the young stars, one of the most intriguing stars in the league right now, and Eugene Suarez. But both of them have been dealing with some injuries, and that's going to hurt the Mariners' batting. And overall, while I think the Mariners may have a stronger pitching staff overall than the Jays, I think the Jays' power bats will get them the win. I think they will win both their games with that home field advantage, both in Rogers Center, and we'll take this series in 3 games.
Shifting to another wildcard series is the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies making the playoffs back in the postseason action for the first time in over 10 years. Just when you look at that series, the matchup between St. Louis and Philadelphia, what do you kind of make of that opportunity for both teams, and just who do you feel like can come out on top in that series as well?
Well, you got to give the Cardinals a lot of credit. They've just signed and gotten a lot of great players. Paul Goldschmidt is, of course, a great all-star. He had a bounce-back year. Albert Pujols, also acquired from the LA Angels. He was, of course, a Cardinal, and that's where he made his name for himself. He's had an absolute bounce back, 700 home runs for him now, and he certainly will make the Hall of Fame one day. And then, of course, Nolan Arenado, acquired from the Colorado Rockies. He's an MVP candidate right now this year, and so he's going to really solidify that Cardinals lineup. An absolute power lineup, amazing lineup. And then Ryan Helsley is one of the best relief pitchers in the league, and that will help the Cardinals a lot. In order to take it down the Phillies have been dealing with injuries, especially to their key player, which is Bryce Harper. He's an insane player, an MVP candidate, but he's been dealing with some injuries this year. JT Realmuto is a really great catcher in the league right now. There's Aaron Nola and Kyle Schwarber, of course, also helping out the Phillies. But I just think the Cardinals have them beat in power and a little bit better in that defensive play. So I think the Cardinals are going to take it in 3, though I think the Phillies could get something done when they're at home.
Well, lastly, just before we wrap it up here, Thomas, your World Series prediction winner. Who is it going to be?
I'm going to go with the Dodgers. They've been the favorite for a long time. I really like the chances of the Braves, but just Mookie Betts and Freeman, and of course their great pitching staff. They're good from top to bottom, great on defense, great on offense. I just can't really see. I think the Dodgers are the very obvious favorite, but there's some great teams in the AL to take them on in the World Series, and of course great teams that they will have to beat in order to get to the World Series as well.
All right, you heard it here first from Mr. Thomas Wildman. It was his prediction for the World Series. MLB Playoffs will begin on Friday with 4 wildcard games taking place. That is a wrap for our MLB Playoff panel. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Now it's time for us to check in once again with Shelby Clark for an extended look at weather.
Thanks so much again there, Jace. Yes, now taking another extended look at your weather forecast. We will be starting off with our central zone of the provinces here. And on the Alberta side, you can see we have warmed up quite a bit from what we were looking at yesterday, which is great to see. We are sitting at that 15 here, and at the basketball, it's 13 in Whitecourt. So Whitecourt is seeing the coolest temperatures compared, seeing that 17 and 18 in most areas over on this end. Red Deer is just at 16 degrees, while Jasper is looking at the warmest condition, hitting 20 degrees. So Jasper is back at that 20 mark. I think some of us are jealous, but we're going to get back up there just in time for the weekend. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are looking a lot cooler compared to the Alberta side. Seeing that single digit in most areas on this side as well. Seeing 7, 8, and 9 for Saskatoon, Melfort, and Prince Albert. So looking a lot cooler over in those spots. 11 and 12 for Meadow Lake and North Battleford. So they are looking around the same conditions as what we are seeing here in the border city. Going over to our northern zone now, they are still sitting at a slightly cooler points than what they were looking at yesterday. 9, 7, and 5 for Flin Flon, South End, and Wollaston Lake. So seeing those cooler marks there. 13 in most areas over on this end. So not looking too bad in those spots. And then up in Uranium City just at 11. So looking slightly warmer compared to yesterday, but not as much as we would like to see. Switching back to our Alberta side for our northern zone, they have warmed up and they are matching with our Alberta side in our central area. So even seeing closer to that 20-degree mark once again. 19 in High Level, while just 13, 14 for Peace River and Slave Lake. 50 up in Fort Chipewyan and Fort McMurray, Grand Prairie seeing the warmest with that 17, slightly warmest, sorry, at that 17, right under that 19-degree mark in High Level. So not looking too bad over on Alberta side over in the this end. And now going over to our southern zone, they have cooled down quite a bit. They were beating us out pretty heavily yesterday, seeing past that 20-degree point, but now they are matching with us now in our central zone, so we have evened things out. 15 and 16 in most areas over here, 14 degrees up in Coronation, while Banff is looking at the warmest condition there at 19, just right under that 20-degree mark. And going back to our Saskatchewan side to end things off, they are seeing the coolest conditions compared to the rest. Even Yorkton just sitting at 5 degrees. It is 7 and 8 for Estevan and Regina. Moose Jaw is just at 9, and slightly warmer in Swift Current and Kinnersley with that 11 and 12, but still seeing some slightly cooled down conditions for today. So hopefully, like the rest of us, they will be warming up with us for just in time for the Thanksgiving long weekend. But now going to some overnight temperatures, seeing what we will expect into Friday. We are going to be seeing those single digits, but now we're on the plus side of things, which is great to see. Not seeing those minus marks. A low of 1 that Paradise Hill will see, a low of 2 that most will expect. Isle Cross and Bonneville will be seeing that low of 3 and 4. And going over to some other spots to check them out, they are matching with us with those conditions. A low of 3 for Myrnam, while Pearson and Wainwright will be looking at a low of 2, a low of 4 that Calgary will expect. So Calgary will be expecting the warmest for tonight, and Unity will be expecting the coolest with that low of that 1 mark for tonight. So as well as we're on that plus side, I think we all can't complain. But now going over to our 7-day forecast for here in the Border City. As I was saying, we'll be warming up tomorrow at 18 with a lot more sun, so get ready. A beautiful Friday starting off. Seeing that 20 on Saturday and 19 Sunday. We'll be looking at a beautiful Thanksgiving weekend and 22 to end that off as well. So we will be expecting a lot more sun, so make sure to get those nice fall pictures outside with your friends and family. See all those nice, just spend some time outside and see some nice leaves and enjoy it, because next week we will be cooling down with that 10 next Tuesday and that 12 and 11 next Wednesday and Thursday. That's all I have for now. RJ Smacky with Harmony is coming up after the break.
I'm proud to introduce Becky Shilley, the CEO of the Olive Tree. Thank you so much for being here today. So there has been some major things going on with the Olive Tree, including Breakfast Day, which was a huge success for the organization. Can you talk a bit more about how it was a success?
That's with the United Way. So we didn't do that much other than host them there. I think they were all pretty busy making sandwiches yesterday, but definitely another successful year for Breakfast Day.
And what exactly is the impact of Breakfast Day?
It just raises funds for the United Way, and they distribute those funds to their members in the community.
Now, as we are heading towards the colder weather, the Coats for Kids program is starting back up. Can you talk a bit more about what exactly the Olive Tree needs with that program?
Coats for Kids for us has been running since about 2014, long time now, and we distribute coats, winter boots, gloves, toques, mitts, those kinds of things to both school divisions in town. So if you have a kid that grew a lot over the summer and you've got some gently used things to donate, we'll definitely accept them and give them out to some kids in need.
Now, has there already been many donations?
For sure. We've got, I think, about 20 or 30 suits in different sizes, and we're usually short on winter boots. So that's definitely a hot needed item for us.
So how do the items go from the Olive Tree to the kids that are in need?
Both school divisions send over referrals. We take those that have the sizes and requests if there are any, and we put those items together. We purchase when necessary, and then the schools pick up the items for their families.
And roughly how many children does the organization help out with this program every year?
We budget for about 70 kids a year. I know we've been a little under that some years. I think last year we did about 65, and then some years it's quite a bit higher. There doesn't seem to be any logic for that. Maybe just the kids grow faster some years.
What are some other things coming up for the Olive Tree?
October for us, there's a lot going on in the background as we prep for the Christmas season. Lots of things. Gift of Christmas coming. We distributed toys to, I think, 956 kids last year, so we're getting ready for that. Christmas food hampers. We've already started collecting items that we're sometimes short of for our Christmas hampers, and family sponsorships. So family sponsorships will launch first in the beginning of November. So if your business, your family maybe, or service group would like to sponsor a local family, they can contact us and we can connect them for that.
Are there currently any much needed items that the organization is really looking for to be donated?
Definitely food items. We're trying to post every week items that we're short of. I think we just posted one yesterday. Food need always goes up in the fall. It seems like when we get settled into systems again, we see an increase for hamper requests. And warm winter gear for children and adults. That's definitely something that we go through really fast. And winter boots, I find that most winter boots are worn through. So, if you have something gently used and you wouldn't mind sharing it with a local family, it's definitely appreciated.
For people who are looking to donate for the first time to the Olive Tree, can you explain the process on how that is done a bit?
Sure. One other thing that we launch every fall is our annual gift guide. And so that's a cute little book, tells you about our programs and our most needed items. So you can go through there, pick something. It has different dollar amounts for our different programs, and pick something that's near and dear to your heart. Or if you have something else in mind, you can go to our website, theolivetreeloyd.ca, make a donation of whatever you'd like, and then you can write a little note in on where you would like that donation to go.
Thank you so much again for being here today to talk a bit more about what's going on with the Olive Tree.
Thanks for having me.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Whitney Schwartz with Home Hardware. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Whitney.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, no problem, because, we had a release come up here that it had to do with Home Hardware Stores Limited, Canada's largest dealer-owned hardware, dealing with all the home hardware stuff, what all the dads love across the province. And we are speaking on the Scene Points loyalty program. So can you kind of go a little bit into that and kind of speak on what this program all is?
For sure. So Scene Plus is one of Canada's favorite lifestyle loyalty programs. Gives us something new to look forward to. Members are able to earn and redeem points for groceries, entertainment, travel, shopping, dining, and banking.
All right, perfect. And it's kind of saying that, for summer 2023, it was expected to launch. But like you were saying, with all the things that everyone could, redeem their Scene Plus points with, they're able to do this at Home Hardware now?
Yes, yeah. As well as Safeway, Sobeys liquor store, gives people more opportunity to earn more points around town.
And do you think this will get a strong reaction from customers at Home Hardware once it launches in the summer?
Well, it's not currently started at our store. So, but I think that the grocery stores like Sobeys and Safeway have had a good launch, and they've had some success.
And I know it's not going to be coming up for a while yet, but is there some details on certain deals or items at Home Hardware that you may know that people can expect here in the border city?
People can redeem their points for restaurant gift cards. Of course, they can redeem for the movie theater, for the Scene movie theater. And they're able to redeem for gift cards. Yeah.
And for having this partnership and hearing about this at the local Home Hardware store, how was the reaction from staff and everything? Do they think this will bring in some more people?
Yeah, definitely. I think everybody's pretty excited about having something new, something that everybody can kind of be excited about and look forward to earning on top of what they're already purchasing.
And for people that might be new to this, Scene Plus loyalty program and using the points, how exactly will it work for customers to use and redeem points once in the store?
For sure. So customers actually will have the opportunity to earn and redeem their points right at the till, which is awesome.
And for more information, where can people look online for this?
You can go to the Scene Plus website, and I think you can just go right on there to create an account and get a card, or you can download an app as well. So then that's just really easy and convenient to have right on your phone.
Awesome, Whitney. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today. And for everyone out there with those Scene points, make sure to go check out the local Home Hardware Lloydminster.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
And that's our show for this Thursday night. Thank you all so much for joining us. See you again tomorrow.